Ok, excelente. So, hoy vamos... comida, excelente. Tengo hambre, no hay almuerzo todavía. Ok, so vamos a hacer otra vez la lista de 50. Para los que no estuvieron la última vez, funciona así. Necesitas cuaderno, necesitas lápiz o bolígrafo. Y la idea con la lista de 50 es este. En tu cuaderno, con tu lápiz o con tu bolígrafo, y sin consultar otros recursos. No puedes usar libro, diccionario, Google, nada así. Es solamente lo que tienes aquí arriba. Beat a lot, beat a little. Lo que tienes aquí entre las orejas es todo lo que puedes usar. Quiero que ustedes me escriban una lista de 50 palabras, verbos, sustantivos, adjetivos, frases, etcétera, que tienen que ver con el tema del día. Y cuando termines, tu señal para nosotros de, no, I did it, I finished, I'm awesome, vas a encender tu cámara, ¿no? That's how we're going to know that you are done. Y el tema para hoy es este, el cuerpo humano, the human body. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, phrases, whatever the heck it is. Starting now, start writing. When you get to 50, you're going to let us know. Buena suerte a todos. Pongo un poquito de música como inspiración. You might even hear a couple body parts in there. Ok, so vamos a hacer Vamos a dividirnos en unos grupos. Vamos a tener dos grupos. Un grupo con 2 personas, un grupo con 3 personas. Déjame ver qué tengo aquí. Excelente. Okay, so lo que quiero de ustedes, I'll open up those rooms in just a second. I want you guys to share with each other the ones that you have, and I want you to create a master list. Okay, so if I'm working with ECs and I'm going to have my list, I'm going to share them. They're going to add the ones they don't have. Now, obviously, if it's one I already have, I don't have to add to my list. But by the time we're done, all 3 of us will have all of them. And if we haven't hit 50 yet, we're going to keep working together to see if we can come up with them. You are going to stay in your breakout room until either you have 50, at which point close and come back in, or if we have run out of time for this particular part of things, I'll call you back at that point. But you are going to work together. So even if you only have I got 5. I got cabeza and estómago and nariz. Oh, and I put lentes on over my ojos. So I'm going to count those. Awesome. Share, because somebody else in the group will go, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about that, because hey, if we're talking about the things we were on parts of our body, human body, I wear glasses over my eyes. But I wear una camisa that goes over mi pecho and mi estómago. Maybe I can use that. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You're going to work together in your groups. You're going to see if you can hit 50. I will either call you back, or if you happen to get to 50 first, come on back on your own. Ok, amigas han regresado. Aquí vienen todos, todas. All right, excelente. Los voluntarios. En los grupos, you had to pick somebody who's going to be your reporter, your list so far. The rest of us are just going to sit back, take it all in, and be like, wow, that's impressive. And then we'll flip to the other group. So, del grupo de 3 amigas, who is our reader? No te oigo, whoever that is who is sharing, you are all muted. Do I need to change that? Do you need to change that? It's a good sounding list. If there's 33, I'm excited to hear it. But somebody's got to hop on the mic and share that list. Por favor. Por favor. Everybody is muted right now. So if you are trying to talk, you need to unmute yourself.
I can go.
Okay, excelente. Excelente. Comparte tu lista. What did we end up with?
Okay. El corazón, cerebro, nariz, boca, pelo, brazos, piernas, ojos, pestañas, pies, cara, cuello, orejas, estómago, putín or nalgas, like I wasn't sure for that one, codos, dedos, uñas, piel, espalda, muslos, músculo, culo, gordo, I don't know how to say fat. So I just said
gordo. Gordo.
pecho, manos, las rodillas, dientes, and then Leslie said débil and fuerte,
Excelente.
and added cansado, or like tired, inteligente, and alegre.
Excelente. Excelente. Me gusta esta lista. Me gusta mucho. Las palabras que aparecen en esta lista son, bueno, first of all, it feels like a game of Simon Says. Like, I'm sorry, I can't not when you're like, cabeza, estómago. I'm like, I have to touch them all. I have to, you know, it's fun. Like, it's a good, you know, for those of us that are physical learners as well, like, it gets a totally different part of things going. I like that list. Excelente.
I thought about like body parts, but then like Leslie was like, oh, we act like this, you know, like strong.
And if you think about it, you're totally right. Like, you can tell somebody walking down the street if they're feeling cansada, if they're feeling alegre. Like, we move our cuerpo, que el cuerpo cuenta una historia, ¿no? All right, excelente. All right, someone from the other group, hop in, por favor, y comparte tu lista. We're going to see what we have in común, what words we have that are diferentes.
Okay, so it was me and Ala.
Okay.
We got like 54 words if I counted right.
All right.
Okay, so brazo, tobillo, pierna, cabello, uñas, dedos, cabeza, ojos, nariz, cejas, pestañas, cerebro, venas, nervios, muñeca, palma, orejas, mejillas, codos, rodillas, pies, estómago, ejercicio, antebrazos, ombligo, hombro, cuello, dientes, labios, lengua, hermoso, bonito, niño, niña, hombre, mujer, ciencia, saludable, lentes, contactos, ropa, calcetines, camisa, blusa, pantalones, vestidos, zapatos, comida, sonrisa, triste, feliz, enojado, nervioso y cansado.
Excelente. Cansado was in both lists. Excelente. Excelente. Muy bien. And you guys had my favorite body part word, ombligo. ¿No? Ombligo es mi favorito. Para los en el otro grupo, si no saben, el ombligo, if you think about the umbilical cord on a baby, it's your belly button, tu ombligo. So somebody who's really self-centered, who's always like thinking about themselves, you can say, you know, ¿por qué siempre te estás mirando por el ombligo? Why are you always staring at your belly button? Because they're like super involved with themselves. I just think it's a fun one, no? And I liked that both groups had pestañas, eyelashes, but we also had cejas, or if you've got Frida back here in the corner, you've got una uniceja. Excelente. Pestañas, I think, are also what they call all of the tabs when you have them open on your computer. Like, ay, todas las pestañas que tengo abiertas en este momento. You have all the eyelashes that are open, which I think is kind of fun. All right, excelente. The reason why we did this one amongst others is A, good vocab practice, good thinking practice. Pero también, remember that story? We know we had the runners, los corredores. We're going to come back to that one later if we have time. Thinking about the parts of the body may help though. So, así es. All right, excelente. Vamos a continuar entonces con un poquito de, bueno, de la unidad 3, ¿no? So, vamos a hablar de los corredores más tarde, si hay tiempo. Pero vamos a pensar en esta idea, for those of you who've had a chance to dive into la unidad 3. Hay mucho que habla de las escuelas, ¿no? ¿Cómo nos afectan nuestras escuelas? Los ambientes, las personas, las estructuras, las reglas. When you choose a school, and obviously you guys all made some choices to end up at this one, how does that choice of school really impact you? ¿No? So, por favor, y solamente estamos empezando con las ideas, no es nada formal. So, en tu cuaderno, con lápiz o bolígrafo, quiero que ustedes empiecen a apuntar unas ideas. Quiero que ustedes primero piensen en ventajas y desventajas. Cosas buenas, cosas malas. Las ventajas y desventajas de una escuela típica, una escuela tradicional, una escuela, digamos, normal, ¿no? Más de tipo brick and mortar, etcétera, etcétera. So, quizás un T-chart, pros and cons, las cosas buenas, las cosas malas, ventajas, desventajas, de una escuela típica. Y también quiero que ustedes piensen un rato en por qué están aquí en Destinations. ¿Cuál fue el proceso o la motivación para venir a esta escuela en vez de otro? Porque para cada persona es una historia diferente, es una elección diferente. So, les voy a dar unos 5 minutos más o menos para pensar. Si necesitas vocabulario, if you find that you are searching for vocab words, you're like, dang, I really want to know how to talk about. Recuerden que un recurso apropiado para la clase, un buen recurso para la clase, es este de wordreference.com, que puedes poner la palabra, puedes ir o español o inglés o inglés a español, depende de lo que tú necesitas. This is a fantastic resource to use, unlike some of those like Google Translate or SpanishTech.com that just don't work that well. So, si necesitas vocabulario, wordreference.com sería mi sugerencia. Y si no, unos 5 minutos para pensar y trabajar en esas preguntas. Siempre es difícil para mí pararnos en medio de una canción. Siempre quiero oír más y más y más. Quiero escuchar todo. Ok, excelente. So, no vamos a hablar en este minuto de estas preguntas, pero vamos a continuar pensando en ventajas de los varios tipos de escuelas. Escuelas privadas, escuelas públicas, escuelas en línea, escuelas que son parte de una iglesia, escuelas que tienen un enfoque particular. Por ejemplo, aquí en Destinations tenemos la idea de CTE, ¿no? ¿Qué vas a hacer con tu vida en el futuro? Otras escuelas tienen un enfoque en los artes o en negocio, en varias cosas, ¿no? So, vamos a hacer una investigación por unos minutos en los colegios bilingües, ¿no? So, primera cosa importante, colegio, y siempre les voy a recordar de eso, colegio no es college. College, universidad. Colegio es donde estamos ahora. Es una palabra para preparatoria, escuela secundaria, liceo, colegio. Cuando hablamos de colegios, estamos hablando en general de las escuelas de este nivel, ¿no? So, vamos a hacer otra vez una investigación literaria. Yo tengo un artículo para leer que tiene que ver con las escuelas donde enseñan inglés y español. ¿Cómo hicimos con el artículo sobre las medias naranjas? Vamos a empezar con sufrimiento individual. Creo que es importante que ustedes tengan tiempo para pensar, para luchar un poco con el texto y después podemos trabajar en grupo, ¿no? So, al leer este artículo, primero no puedes usar recursos en la primera parte, ¿no? So, no puedes ir a tu sitio de Word Reference para buscar las palabras, ¿no? En el sufrimiento individual es simplemente, otra vez, lo que tienes aquí arriba. Vas a contestar las preguntas que puedas. Y si hay preguntas que tienes, puedes mandarme o por mensaje de texto, en la caja chat, como ustedes quieren. Pero es una oportunidad. Yo te puedo ayudar, pero el grupo va a trabajar como individuos. So, este artículo, la primera cosa que van a notar es que es un artículo viejo, de verdad. Este artículo es del 29 de abril de 2005. It was like a long time ago, ¿no? Ustedes fueron nada más bebés. So, keep that in mind. There's certain things where they're like, it's an amazing concept. And you're like, no, it's not. And you have to think, oh, yeah, but 2005, maybe it was. So, es algo para pensar. La otra cosa es que este artículo, como pueden ver, es del sitio de 20minutos.es. 20 minutos es de España y es de versión en particular aquí de Madrid. So, ellos tienen una perspectiva un poco diferente porque están en Europa, las cosas son diferentes que están aquí en Estados Unidos, están diferentes de lo que vemos en México o en Cuba o en Uruguay, que cada país tiene su experiencia diferente y está bien, ¿no? El artículo no es muy largo, les muestro aquí la versión en total y después pongo el enlace en el chat. So, no es súper largo, pero hay bastante, ¿no? Y al final hay unas preguntas. Ignora el essay question por el momento, ¿no? Solamente estamos buscando esta parte de vocabulario. The way this will work is, so you guys know like the chupacabra goes around, gobbles up goats. When we work, there's this thing called the chupapalabra. So the chupapalabra slithers around. I envision him kind of like a ginormous slug, but with like big, nasty, gnarly teeth. He's going to slither around and he's going to gobble up a word from the text. And just like when you eat something, it changes form, but the world does see it again 24 to 36 hours later. So like you, the chupapalabra is going to gobble up this word and he's going to poop out something on the other side, leaving in its place something that means the same thing, but probably looks a little different. Just like that cheeseburger that you had for lunch is not going to look like a cheeseburger later on. It's still going to be made of the same stuff. What? It's probably a really graphic explanation, and I apologize. Hint about these when you get to them, and we'll talk more once we're back together as a group. They're going to come in order. So if you find one and you find three, then you know that two is somewhere in the middle. Okay. There's also hints in terms of, hey, for example, number 8, directores, that's plural. I'm gonna need a plural word to match when I'm looking through the text. Same thing, if I find a phrase like darán, future tense, chances are I'm looking for the future tense of something in the text too. So again, if I were reading through and I'm looking for, what did we say that first one was? Darán, to give. I might notice that right off the bat in the beginning, there's an avalancha de preinscripciones en los colegios bilingües. Avalanche of pre-signups or early signups for bilingual schools. The applications for the 80 centers that, oh, could I say as opposed to will impart, blah, 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 a third of their schedule in English? Could they just say they're going to give a third of their classes in English? Yeah, that would work. It's not exactly the same, but it's close. I'm going to put impartirán, and I'll probably want to do this on a separate sheet of paper, down there as well. So they're going to match or mean the same thing. Exactly. So you're looking for synonyms, but in kind of funky forms. First things first, though, I would say take a few minutes and simply read. Read through it, start to play with it, and then we'll come back together and we'll go from there. But I am going to give you a head start on this one of about maybe even just 5 minutos. Don't worry about reading every word. You're going for general big picture. What can you make sense of things? So we'll do about 5 minutos. The link would be handy, I am sure. So there it is in the chat box. You've got your own copy of it there. Again, we are in the first part of things, which is no fun, no extra resources, no outside help, just you and the text, and then we will get back together again in about 5 minutos. Ok, amigas, vamos a regresar por un momento. Quick comments, thoughts, concerns. How are we feeling so far? We doing okay? Brain hurts. Good, that's what I like. Me duele el cerebro. Ala's still reading. Perfect, not a problem. Excelente. It is. This is not easy stuff. And that's one thing you should know. Like some of the stuff in the class is either like ridiculously hard or it's ridiculously easy. I like using our class time for the stuff that, quite frankly, we need each other for. Like that's where we're going to get good at this stuff, is when we can work together on it. No? Because again, everybody's got something that they can contribute, and it's always kind of fun to see what that is. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to dump you back into some breakout rooms. The rules for the breakout room are this. You are going to help each other. Just one of them, Isis? Solamente uno ojo te duele? No los dos? Oh, los dos. Okay, excelente. So in your group, and we're only going to spend 5 minutos, and then I'm going to call you back. So we're not going to get through a ton, but we're going to see what we can. No? You are welcome to use each other's resources. You are welcome to use the word reference site to help look up any words that you are stuck with. Okay, so about 5 good minutos working together, and then we'll come back in, we'll check in again, and we'll figure out our next steps from there. All right, las invitaciones están, pueden unirse a los grupos. Perfecto, perfecto, ahí van. Stephanie y Ala buscan sus grupos. Perfecto, excelente. Ok, amigas, 5 minutos para trabajar. Ok, excelente. Aquí bien, mis amigas. Fantástico. Ok, excelente. So, otra vez, después de trabajar en grupo, ¿cómo les fue? Were you able to start piecing things? It is pretty hard, you're totally right. Es bien difícil, ¿no? Pero no imposible, no imposible. Eso es lo que les voy a pedir. We will spend a chunk of time Tuesday, just a small chunk, kind of like we just did there. We'll spend maybe 10 minutes on Tuesday, whoever is there. I know some of you are kind of jumping back and forth between classes. We'll do a chunk on Tuesday. We will finish with a chunk next Thursday. What I'm going to ask of you is this, especially if you're not going to be here Tuesday, but probably everybody needs to, put in 10 minutos extras. I know you are busy, ladies. I know you've got tons of stuff going on. Take about 10 minutos extra. Use it to look up words you need. Go into word reference, look up the words you need. Because obviously, if you're trying to find a synonym for something, you don't know what the heck it means. It doesn't do you any good. So take the time to do a little bit of prep work. So we come back together. We'll be in a different grouping. You'll have a chance to work together on Tuesday, see where we're at. We'll plan on maybe another 10 minutes of individual work before we come back together on Thursday. And we'll put it all together then as well. So while you are continuing to move forward thinking about your own educational choices, you're also going to be thinking about the choices that these families make to send their kids to escuelas bilingües. ¿No? All right, dicho eso, again, we are in Unit 3. We're about halfway through right now. We'll wrap up with it next week. If you know you still have stuff missing from the introduction, if you know you still have stuff from Unidad 1, Unidad 2, go back and get those taken care of. Those holes are going to start to really drag things back way more than any of the current stuff we've got. So spend the time, go back, do what you got to do there. And if you need anything, reach out, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you el martes que viene. Que tengan un fin de semana fantástico. Bueno, un viernes fantástico primero y después un fin de semana increíble. Nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta luego, amigas.